everybody, it's Elizabeth from Astrology at albisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So today I am going to give you my take on the astrology for March 2023 and what a month it is. We have Saturn going into Pisces. And remember, Saturn is a 30-year cycle. And we have Pluto going into Aquarius. That's a much longer cycle. And then we have Mars that's going into, out of shadow rather, and that's going to occur on the 14th of March at 25 Gemini, 36 minutes. So we start off on the 1st of March. We have Venus in Aries conjuncting Jupiter in Aries at about 10, 11 degrees of Aries. Well, this is a wonderful way to start off the month. I mean, both of these are benefics, basically. One's the lesser benefic, that is Venus, and the greater benefic is Jupiter. Together, they just are so happy. And in Aries, it's all movement forward, right? And so this says this may be the start of some new romances. Money could be very favorable to others. And it can also have us really taking great care of what we really value, right? Because Venus also rules values too. And just in its simplest form, it could be for some folks that women are just very lucky for you. On the 7th of March, we have our first lunation, and it will be a full moon in Virgo. It's at 16 Virgo, 40 minutes at 10:28 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And so we have the sun and moon, either of them either trining or sextiling Uranus. So this full moon is going to bring about some surprises for sure. I would say for Virgos, you could have some kind of unexpected thing happen for you that you just maybe needed to end. Maybe there's a sudden ending that's very favorable for you, but it's going to come out of the blue for sure. Now, the ruler of Virgo, of course, is Mercury. And Mercury's at 7 degrees of Pisces. And so for me, this, although there's no direct correlation in a transit with Mercury, with the moon and the sun, it does say that there's a lot of compassion that may be important here. But also, use your intuition. This may be quite high, especially I'm speaking to Virgos here. There may be some very wonderful benefits that are to come out of this, but they may be more altruistic with that whole Pisces. Pisces is of service, and so actually is Virgo. So that goes nicely together too. So I'd say bring in compassion at this time. If service works for you, do it. Don't overdo it. Make sure you're always taking care of yourself first. We have also Venus conjuncting Chiron, which is also in Aries. So this to me, just reinforces what I was talking about, the compassion side of it, and being kind to yourself, Venus conjunct Chiron. Now, Venus also has a wide sextile with Mars, which is in Gemini still. Jupiter conjuncts Chiron. So these are all very beneficial types of transits where it's giving you opportunities or just really good energy. And these are in signs that are active. Gemini as well as Aries is very much featured here, even though it's a full moon in Virgo. So I would say that there's going to be some kind of initiative that will come out of this full moon where something unexpected comes about. So check to see if you've got anything specifically. That full moon, of course, has the moon at 16 of Virgo, and then in the opposite sign, which is Pisces, is where the sun will be, right? That's what we classify as a full moon. The square that we have happening at this full moon is a Neptune square Mars at around 24, 21 degrees respectively. And this just speaks to deception, unfortunately. So I would say that's another element that you have to take into consideration at this full moon, is that there may be some kind of deception around. And I would say that this deception could be through the media of some sort. And that's not going to be an unusual thing for us to witness for sure. The other thing is that I'm getting, along with deceit, sort of an underhanded action because Mars is involved here in Gemini. So there may be some false news given to some folks, or maybe this will just be on a collective level. On the 8th of March, we have Saturn going into or ingressing into Pisces at 0 degrees and 0 minutes of Pisces. Wow. And for March 2023, the Saturn will go up to about 2 degrees of Pisces. And so this, I mean, there's lots of videos that have been made about this. I've talked about it too in the past. But I think this is a good place for Saturn to go into. On the surface, it doesn't seem like that because Saturn is all about structures and rules and regulations. And Pisces is all about the opposite of that. No rules, no regulations, no boundaries. But I think that if you look at Pisces as water, for sure, there could be better structures around the water, maybe protection of our waters, generally speaking, or more seriousness. Saturn is about seriousness too. But we could also look at, I think, the pharmaceutical industry, drugs, that sort of thing, and alcohol too, is very much in the realm of Pisces. And I suspect that there's going to be just better treatments, wise Saturn, timely Saturn treatments, I think, are going to be out there, maybe even in the psychological realm as well. With Pluto going into Aquarius, although they're not necessarily related by signs or interacting by sign, I think that's going to support this as well. All right, on the 11th of March, we have Venus still in Aries, sextiling Mars in Gemini. And so I saw this really as a great day to discuss love, for instance, opportunities to flirt. I mean, both Aries and Gemini are kind of flirty signs. They don't mind going after something, but it's not really that serious necessarily at that day. But it could certainly bring something in more permanence later on, of course. It might also be a good day to reach out to someone with courage, because of course Mars is courage too, right? To express their love, to say, hey, I've got a crush on you. Or, hey, I've been watching you for some time, I'd like to take you out. That kind of energy. So our new moon is going to be on the 21st of March, and it is at 0 degrees Aries, 50 minutes at 10:23 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So happy new year, new start to all my Aries viewers and clients. But hey, you not only have that new moon coming in on the 21st of March, but guess what? Just prior to that new moon becoming new at 9:02 a.m., we have the spring equinox. So you've got double lucky things here with regards to what? New things, right? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. New things, new beginnings, literally spring is in the air, a breath of fresh air. It's all those types of feelings and energies that will be around this new moon, which is really bolstered by the spring equinox as well. And of course, we have to take this out, really, the spring equinox, the effect of it and the chart, for at least, 3 months or so till we get to the summer solstice, right? So this moon and sun, which are together in Aries, are also conjunct Mercury, Mercury as well. So this is awesome to have this happen. So we talk about important communications, important messages that you receive, important messages you may be giving about maybe some independent action that you're going to take. I see this new moon really as movement forward, right? We'll have had Mars in Gemini go out of shadow too on the 14th of March. So this is now we're talking about the 21st. So it really is, wow, I can do this now, whatever it is in your individual charts. We do, though, have an inconjunct with Mercury and Venus. So this just says, there may be a little fly in the ointment type thing where you might have to do a workaround of some sort with regards to whatever this newness is. And Venus representing females, a female may feature here in some way. Maybe that female will help you do that workaround, right? Or maybe even some money is going to come in that will help you or assist you. We have a square between Mars and Neptune at this time. And so I've spoken about that, on the full moon as well. So again, this harks back to the whole thing of some kind of deceit, at the very least, some kind of shady deals going on, and messages that are given out that probably from the media or some kind of form like that. Maybe even something like, if we look at Neptune, it's also like literally photos, right? It's the film industry as well. So there may be something around that that isn't quite correct. I'll be nice here and say that it will need to be corrected in the future. We have this sun and moon, because it's at 0 degrees of Aries, it will be sextiling Pluto, which is almost in Aquarius. So at this new moon in Aries, Pluto is at 29 degrees Capricorn, 58 minutes. Oh my goodness. It literally only has a few minutes left before it goes into Aquarius. I'll talk about that next. Now, the ruler of this new moon, of course, is Mars. And Mars at this new moon is at 28 degrees of Gemini, going forward and out of shadow. So I see this new moon, just to cap this up, is to say that lots of movement forward, generally speaking. Just make sure you look at things carefully with regards to that square right between Mars and Neptune. The other thing that Mars and Neptune square could be false starts, false kind of illusions of some sort. So, just do all your, dotting of the I's, crossing of the T's. That's what I would say. And if in doubt, ask questions. That's good advice at any time. But especially with this new start here, you want to go off on a good foot. Generally speaking, I would say it's lots of positive stuff here. On the 23rd of March, and this is the day I think, or surrounding this day, we have a trigger here, and that's going to be Pluto now ingressing into Aquarius at 0 degrees of Aquarius. It's going to be at 5:24 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Saturn will be at 1 degree of Pisces. So certainly if you've got anything, say you are an Aquarian and you're at the beginning of Aquarius, but you literally would have to be at the beginning of Aquarius, or your ascendant at the beginning of Aquarius here. This could, for some folks, really be some kind of big trigger where transformation sets in. Now, the benefit about, kind of to speak to a little bit of Aquarius ascendants, Aquarius suns specifically, is that Pluto moves very slowly. It doesn't, like Aquarius, or like the rule of Aquarius, which is Uranus, that moves sort of instantly and surprisingly. Pluto tends to give you lots of heads up. It's rolling your way. But the thing about Pluto is it's asking, It first of all asks and requests that you transform or radically change some part of your life. So look to see where Aquarius is in your chart. That's the area of your life that's up for transformation. And don't always go to the negative, saying that, oh my God, this is going to be really horrible for me. Some of us need major transformation. Some of us have been waiting all our lives to transform some aspect of our life. Here's your opportunity coming in. But if you don't pay attention and you don't take action and steps forward, even if they're baby steps, to transform or change up that part of your life, no problem. Pluto will do that for you. And Pluto's all about removal. But remember, it tends to be slow removal as opposed to Uranus, which is sudden, unexpected removal. All right, so on the 28th, 29th of March, we have nicely a Mercury conjunct Jupiter at 18 degrees of Aries. Well, this is good news. This is good news about our future, just straight up. That's what this is. And at a deeper level, this could have us feeling very positive about that new start. Maybe that was happening on the 21st of March. Now, over a week later, we can talk about it. And maybe that's a time when we're going to be hearing announcements about seeing our bright future ahead of us, right? And a lot of this is going to be independence. It's going to be taking the road that we want to go on, that type of thing. But certainly we'll be feeling very buoyant the 28th, 29th of March about our future ahead of us. We could even hear some, on a collective level, we could hear from some important news from leaders or advisors, because Jupiter can represent that. And for others, individually, this may be a teacher has good news for you. Leave comments for me. I'd be interested to hear from you. All right, so right at the end of the month, the 31st of March, we have Venus conjunct Uranus. So Venus will be, and Uranus will be at 16 degrees of Taurus here. Awesome. This could be unexpected couplings with regards to, say, love and romance. You win the lottery. Don't quote me on that. But certainly if you've got something around 16 degrees of Taurus, something very favorable may happen for you. Or it could just bring in an unexpected female comes into your life for some reason. And so these are different things that could happen to us individually. Jupiter will still be in Aries, and it will be conjunct Mercury. So we talked about that on the 28th and 29th. So that influence still carries through to the 31st. Good news, positive thoughts, especially with regards to being independent, right? An independent thought. So this can bring in unexpected money, unexpected love, and unexpected, perhaps even, because we have Mercury in the mix too here, messages. And there may be some foreign connection because Jupiter also rules foreign lands, foreign people. We'll have Mars now, unbelievably, out of Gemini at the end of March. It'll now be in Cancer, and it will be trining Saturn. This is going to be at 2 degrees of Pisces. So first of all, this is wonderful news for all Cancer ascendants especially, and Cancer's suns. Because this brings lots of energy to your life, and especially if it's your ascendant. This could have, maybe you've been waiting around for months to be able to, do something, to be able to properly put in some kind of structures in your life that are positive for you. I see this really as opening up things. That's the Mars energy, with regards to you being able to make something maybe more permanent. Saturn brings in enduring types of energies. And with that trine, it's going to be positive, right? You may even get some intuitive hits for some Cancers here of what action to take next. Well, that's March, but what about April? So April 2023, there's just a little preview. We're going to have a full moon in Libra. We're going to have our first eclipse, and it's a total eclipse, new moon at 29 Aries 50 minutes. And it's almost like a double entendre because 29 degrees is kind of a culmination of sorts because there's 30 degrees in every sign. So that's the final degree. So it's a wrap up. It's a total eclipse. So we know it's important, but it's a new moon. So it's supposed to be new. So there's newness as well as wrap ups. And then of course, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. I'll talk more about that eclipse from my April video, but I wanted to give you the heads up. So this kind of kicks off that whole changing of the nodes, the north nodes going into Aries, the south nodes going into Libra. But that doesn't officially happen until I think around the 17th and 18th of July. They actually change, the nodes change at that time. But this is our first eclipse. That really marks a change in energy, right? And we will have actually in April a Mercury retrograde in Taurus too. All right. Let's get into the individual sun signs as well as ascendants. All right, Leo. So Leo, last month you had, a big conclusion of something in your life. And for some, it was pretty serious. Now we come into March and you've got a full moon that is in Virgo. And of course, that's going to be in your second house. So this may be some ending with regards to the income that you make. Maybe you stop some stream of income that you've been getting, or you just decide to do something with it that involves you letting go of something. It's also your value systems, Leo. And so I would say this may have you deciding that maybe you've not been valuing yourself enough, or your values are not up to par, and that you have to do something about them, and that you put a full stop to something in order to value yourself and your life more. Now, you're going to have Uranus aspecting that full moon, and of course, Uranus is in the 10th house, your 10th house, Leo. So I would say that something unexpected may happen that's surrounding this full moon to do with your career, and not necessarily a bad thing. And it could pan out as many different things. I would say stick to Virgo type stuff. Virgo is all about service. It's about your health. So it may be for some Leos that you've got to do something with regards to your health or service to others, or both. All right, the new moon in Aries is in your 9th house, and it trines your sign. Why? Because it's a fellow fire sign like you, Leo. And so this is fabulous. This is like a whole new start in all 9th house areas of life. Well, what are those? There's a lot of them. Generally speaking, we talk about the 9th house being a house of travel. It is also the law. So there may be some new starts in both those. You may decide to take a trip. You may decide to have to take up some kind of positive efforts with regards to some aspect of the law. Others may actually be deciding to get a higher degree. And still others may have some kind of connections with foreign people and foreign things that are positive for you. And of course, publishing is also something that's ruled. So we will have some Leos that will be finally able to take a new start, positive new start here by publishing something. And it will be very favorable energy for you. Now, at the end of the month, that Venus conjunct Uranus will be in your 10th house and will form a square. So I would say there's going to be something unexpected that comes up in your career that you will have to take care of. Maybe it's just redoing something. Maybe it's a challenge with regards to extra resources that you have to gain in your career to make something happen. But a female could feature here for you Leo, for some reason. Maybe it's your boss or someone, a client maybe, that requires you to do something, that requires you to change up something that maybe you've done, maybe a project that you've worked on. She's not happy about it. Or maybe she just says, can you add this in? And you want to add something in, say it's a project you're doing, but it's going to be a challenge to find whatever that is. Well, good luck to you, Leo.